Testing sound check. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. ABC. 1, 2, 3. Do re mi. Testing 1, 2. All right. We're ready to go. Rock and roll. All right. How you doing, folks? Ron Raymond here from the Raymond Report for a College Football Thursday, September 16th. Hope you're having yourself a good start today. As always, don't forget, subscribe to our channel by tapping that notification bell in the top right-hand corner, or hit the subscribe button below this video if you are using a mobile device. Today's podcast is brought to you by ATSstats.com. And right now, running a promo. If you go to ATSstats.com, put in promo code FB21. That's F as in Frank, B as in Bravo, 21. And you will get 20% off your next membership package right here at ATSstats.com. And also, bullpenpicks.com. If you go to Bullpen Picks and you like baseball, well, there's a couple of people you want to follow over there. And there's Peyton Sportsgirl. There's a Sniper. Good morning, everyone. Hope everybody's having a good morning. Nice little sunshine right there, Peyton. And, so if you go to bullpenpicks.com, you can see our good friend from Montreal, Eddie O. Hey? Eddie O is 953 points, and he's having a good run. He sent me a nice email this morning, and you know what? And I agree with Eddie O, and he sent me a really good email about the strategy at bullpenpicks.com. Same thing at Hail Mary, Hockey Picks. Guys, the more we talk about this, the more people are going to really understand the true meaning of bullpen picks, hockey picks, Hail Mary picks, and b-ball picks, and it's about following winners. The incentive of all these websites, it's not winning a t-shirt, it's not winning a free $10 account, it's about following other winners. And the sooner we get a lot of people with that same mindset of following other winners and a strategy. Now, if you go look at Eddie O's strategy, it's like betting, right? He's not going to bet 100% confidence on his top plays. Like, I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me see if I pull this up right here. I don't know if you're going to see it on the, let me see if I see it here. Anyway, 51 to 54%. He's 50 and 45 for 53%. On his selections that are 55 to 62%, only 2 picks. That's 2-0, 100% right there. And if you're betting, think of the units that he's playing, right? We weighed at 20. The point system is 20, and the total score is 200, right? So the higher the confidence level, the lower the amount of quantity of plays. And you'll see 63 to 72%, 2 selections, and 73 to 100%, 1 selection. And he's 5-0 in all those percentage plays of 55% to 100%. And this is why, if you've been following the Raymond Report, I tell you guys all the time, are you an action junkie or a sports betting investor? If you're a sports betting investor, then take your coat off, hang your hat, and stay a while, because it's going to take time to make money. But if you're just that action junkie and you're just trying to make money like for today, you're going to be broke and you won't get it, and you won't even enjoy the process of sports betting. And this is why the community here at ATS and the Raymond Report, people are starting to get it. And you got to be paid. Like, if you look at my premium picks at ATS Stats, I don't give premium picks every day. In fact, when I go and give my premium picks, they're very selective. I haven't given a premium pick since the 14th. And then now that football is here, I'm very selective giving premium picks, right? But people pay memberships and they want selections. So I do have picks every day. But just because I have those picks in the system every day doesn't mean they're my best picks. They're my top plays, the ones I'm putting a lot of money on. It just means that I'm giving you what I think that day. If I was going to bet, that's what I'm betting. But if I'm going to really, put my normal units on big plays, well, guess what? They're going to be in, the odd selection. I play 2 college plays every weekend. Since the beginning of the year, I'm 3-1 in my top premium picks. And last weekend in my college NFL, I went, 2-1. I had the Patriots, I had the Browns, and the Saints. So I'm very selective when I give my premium picks, and that's how you make money here betting in the sports betting industry, right? You got to be selective, and then when you are, then you got to be aggressive on that day you're going to go. But you got to feel 100% sure on that day you're going to really unload on those plays, that you love that play, and that, and you can live with the decision that happens at the end of the day, right? You got, card laid, card played type thing. That's what I always say. All right, let's, big day today. Today's our college football Thursday. College football Thursday starts really on Monday for me. And if you would see the spreadsheets that I have, and when I prepare for this show, I don't just pick my butt and just grab a rabbit out of the hat. I bring it. I bring my A game for you guys, and I try to give you all the best information. So that way, when you go to the weekend and you go to the window, hopefully I can send you to the winner's circle that night. And at the end of the day, my name's and my reputation's on the line, right? If you suck at giving picks, guess what? People aren't going to follow you, and people aren't going to play your plays, right? So you got to step up, keep up, and show up. And make sure you show up when you make those bets, right? All right, I want to say good morning to my good friend Isaiah Moore, Pele J's in the house, Mitchell Watson, Telly, and everybody's Michael Robertson. And here we go. The show must go on. Classic rock. We had a pretty good classic rock day yesterday. All right, let me get to the free horse racing selection today. As you know, we always pay our respect to the horse racing industry. And then we're going to go into a quick SBI, and then pitter-patter, let's get at her, College Football Thursday. All right, Churchill Downs, the first race today at Churchill Downs, 5 o'clock Eastern, so you got time to get on this one. $10,000 maiden claiming race, and the 6 furlongs on the dirt. We are going to go 7-4-5 in race number 1 today at Churchill Downs, tri-board with B.J. Hernandez Jr. taking a ride here on tri-board. Anna's Moonlight, the number 4 horse, Anna's Moonlight, Morales taking a ride here on the 4. And Spy a Star with Tyler Gaffalione taking a ride here on Spy a Star, the number 5 horse, 7-2 morning line. Now, if you like the Joker today, if you like the value play of the day, it's a 15-1 long shot on Shirley Green. Requelm taking a ride here on the number 2 horse, 15-1 morning line on Shirley Green, the 2 horse. Now, if you're going to play an exacta in race number 1 today at Churchill Downs, I'm going to recommend 7-4, 4-5, 5-2 exacta box. And if you're going to go trifecta, 7-4-5, 2-4-5 trifecta box. And always, if you're going to play the Joker at 15-1 morning line, this is what I love about this Joker pick, is that you play the Double Dutch betting system. And what is the Double Dutch betting system is this. If you like the number 2 horse, Shirley Green, and you have a $20 budget per race, put 10 to win, 10 to place on the number 2 horse. This way, he comes in first. You get paid twice, comes in second. At least you get some of that money back on the number 2, Shirley Green. And if you want the entire tip sheet today for free at Churchill Downs, every race going today at Churchill 1-8, it's all for free just by visiting our website, atsstats.com. Go to horses, free tip sheet, and in the pull-down menu, go to Churchill Downs, and you will get the entire tip sheet for free today at atsstats.com. All right, love the horse racing industry. Man, hard work. Horse racing is very hard work, hard and honest work. All right, let's go to the MLB, and let's see what came in yesterday in Major League Baseball. And yesterday, 8-7 for the favorites, 8-7, 8-4-3 to the over/under. And looking on the 7-day average in Major League Baseball, it's just a tad under the season average. It's 58% on the favorites. 55.7% of the favorites, the overs, have come in the last 7 days, and 44.3 of the unders. So if you're betting overs lately in baseball, you are smiling like a butcher's dog. All right, let's get to the action, and let's go to college football. It's a college football Thursday here at the Rain Report. And folks, we're going to break down every game for you, and hopefully we're going to send you to the winner's circle at the end of the night. All right, so again, because it's college football Thursday, I'm going to be very busy breaking down all the games, so I'm not going to be able to reply to a lot of the questions, but I will try to take a break between the games. And but I do have Sniper here. Sniper is one of our moderators here at ATS Stats, so if there's ever a question, hopefully he'll get it for you. And Isaiah is always a good guy here too. If you got a good question, Isaiah is always there, and so is Peyton Sports Girl. We're all here to help each other out, right? All right, before I go, let me see. Not much clean up the season. This invention, quite uncomfortable. Yeah, that doesn't sound like a lot of fun there, Isaiah. Oh dang, feel better. I hope Rain Report says under in the Ohio-Louisiana game earlier in the week. Moving Raging Cajuns. Hey, Billy Napier. Hey, there's the Raging Cajuns. Love that name. All right, let's get to the action here, and let me go to the Rain Report. All right, let's go here. Let me close this window. And let me just do that. Perfect. All right. So we got game number 1. We have Ohio, the Bobcats, taking on the UL Lafayette the Raging Cajun. Now, the head coach for UL Lafayette is Billy Napier. And looking at the line on this game, minus 19.5. Now, again, these are some of the lines from the opening of the week. So some of these lines might be a bit stale. So if you do have a better number, just post it into the chat session. And the over-under tonight's game is 56.5. ATS forecast, computer pick, gonna lean with the Raging Cajun in this one. 35.6, 21.2. The over-under, look at that. Sorry there, who was it, Michael Robertson? Sorry, buddy, but it looks like it's going to go a hair over the total. All depends what total you got out there. Cajuns coming off a 27-24 victory against Nichols. Was it Nickel or Nickel State? I can't remember. And Ohio State in the Ohio Bobcats last game 11 days ago lost to Syracuse 29-9. The last two games for the Raging Cajuns have gone under the total. Maryland taking on the Fighting Illini. Now, before I get to this game, the one thing with Billy Napier as a home coach, 13-3, and he covers 58% of his games. So that's one thing I always want to mention every time we're breaking down the games, right? All right, let's go to the Friday game. So we got Maryland taking on Illinois. Now we all know that Illinois has a new head coach in Brett Bielema, and look at Coach Bielema's record. Overall, 62% win percentage. The one thing with Coach Bielema, he wins his home games, 65-21 when he's a home coach. And for Maryland, Mike Loxley, let me see, 3-9 as an away coach and only covers 50% of his game. Looking at the Terrapins last game, a win over West Virginia, and I believe that was at home. I think it was at home, right? Against West Virginia. 30-24 was the final. And for the Illini, the Fighting Illini, they're coming off a 42-14 thump in the West Virginia. The Cavaliers had the better of them last weekend. The Illinois, after that big win over Nebraska, are now on a 2-game straight up and ATS losing streak. They're playing on 5 days rest, though, so be careful about that. Maryland, let me see here. Coach for Maryland, Mike Loxley. So nothing. We already talked about that. But looking at this game right here, my consensus letters, right? So the first consensus letters that I have on that Ohio UL Lafayette, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you just the average of the consensus letter. I'll tell you if we're all straight up on them. So we're all on UL Lafayette. The average score is 36-19. And, if you're keeping track at home, just write it. Like, say if you got the rain report, print out that tip sheet, and then just write down the consensus scores. And this way, next week, we'll see if we have any good students can tell us how the consensus letter. I can't keep track of everything. Like people always say, how come, hey, man, I tell you guys all the time, I mop the floors, I close the light, and I do security at night here at the Rain Report. I can't do everything, right? I got one programmer, and he's in India right now. So we do what we can here, and we do the best job we can. All right, we also have great marketing guys. People who do our social media, and Sniper helps out too, so appreciate that. All right, Maryland taking on Illinois. The consensus has Maryland winning 33-28. And for Central Florida taking on Louisville tomorrow, you have UCF, good quarterback, Dylan Gabriel right there. That was a big come-from-behind win against Boise State. They were down at halftime, and that was they mounted the comeback, and that's what good quarterbacks will do. Anytime you got a good field general, they'll find a way to rally the troops, and you need good halftime adjustments. I was a little upset with Ryan Day last week. I thought he was the master of halftime adjustments, but hey, you got to give credit to Oregon. Oregon showed up, right? But Central Florida against Louisville, looking at the line on this game, minus 6.5. Again, this line can change. The total's at 67.5. Forecast, going to lean with the Golden Knights by 2, 37-35. The over-under at 73.5. The last two games for the Cardinals have gone under the total. Now, another thing I want to mention is sometimes you're going to see, I'll give you a good example. Oklahoma Sooners taking on Nebraska. Here it says straight up they're 1-0, but we know Oklahoma's 2-0. What the Raymond Report does, it will only track the games that have lines on the feed. So if you ever see, hey, you know what, Ron, Oklahoma's 2-0, how come you're showing them 1-0? If there's no line, we don't track it. It's a meaningless thing for us to track, right? And the feed doesn't put it in the feed. Sometimes we'll add it to the feed, but if you notice that there's a discrepancy in the straight up record or something like that, it's because that game had no line and it wasn't in our feed. That's why. All right, so Nebraska taking on the Sooners. The Oklahoma Sooners a 22-point favorite. The over-under set at 61.5. ATS forecast. Computer pick going to lean with the Oklahoma Sooners 43.16, 22.96, the over-under at 66.12. Now, we all know the Sooners won big last weekend. I forget what team they played. It was a Division II team. But prior to that, remember that game against Tulane? Tulane gave them everything they could handle that game. So Scott Frost, after that loss to Illinois week number 1, has to be feeling a little bit better, knowing that he's got a couple of wins under his belt, although it's against teams that, they're cupcake games, but you got to win those games. But 28-3 in his last game against the Bulls last weekend, and they are now 2-1 on the season. Scott Frost, when he's on the road, though, at Nebraska, only 4-12, and Scott Frost only covers 42% of his football games, where Lincoln Riley covers 55%, and Lincoln Riley is 22-2 at home. So you can see the Sooners, Boomer Sooners, they do well when they're playing at home. All right, what else? There's Eddie O. Hey, Eddie O's in the house. Okay, the game of the week. This is going to be a great football game between the Auburn Tigers and the Penn State and Nittany Lions. A lot of Ottawa connections in this game. Jesse Luketa, an Ottawa boy. We got Sutherland, also from Ottawa, and the third-string quarterback is Christian Villier, another Ottawa connection. So a lot of Ottawa connection. I don't know what James Franklin's got. He must love the Ottawa. Hey, he's gonna have to come and pay his respects here on Canada Day if he keeps recruiting all the players from the nation's capital. Right, 4.5 point favorite here against Auburn Tigers. This weekend, the over-under is set at 52.5. ATS forecast, computer pick, gonna lean with the Nittany Lions in this one. 34-18, the over-under at 52.89. And looking at the Nittany Lions coming off a 44-13 win over Ball State. And then, a game against Madison against the Badgers. A game I thought Wisconsin should have won had it not been for those red zone turnovers. So, be careful going in this one. Auburn Tigers, now we all know there's a new Brian Harsin there from Boise State is at Auburn. Now they are coming off a 60-10 win against Akron, MAC opponent. So of all MAC teams, Bowling Green and Akron probably the weakest of the bunch. So we can't put nothing much into this. But I'll give Penn State one thing: they got one heck of a defense over there, and I think this will be another defensive battle between the Tigers and the Penn State Nittany Lions. And James Franklin's record at home so far in his 8th season, 38-10, and he's got a 69 win percentage, 62-28 at Penn State, and he covers 53% of his games. Where Brian Harsin, great record, 31-13 in his career on the road. So this should be a good one. And when Brian Harsin plays a top 25 ranked team, they are 5-6 straight up. So be careful here. And for James Franklin, when he faces a top 25 opponent, and I don't think Auburn is a top 25. It's too bad, because then this stat 10-15 against top 25. But I don't think Auburn is a ranked team. All right, how about them Cowboys? Not those Dallas Cowboys, but the Oklahoma State Cowboys, who won last weekend against the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes, 28-23, and Boise State beating UTEP last week, 54-13. Now, the thing with Boise State, I think they're not getting, they're getting the respect on the line right here, but I think this is a really good football team. Keep in mind, they had a letdown in the second half against UCF, a game that maybe they should have won, right? Oklahoma State kept it close against Tulsa, only 28-23, and they played a Division II team in the first game, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to go check that out. But I don't know, Oklahoma State doesn't really impress me that much. Coach Gundy, when he's on the road, let me see, his record is 50-34. He's really good at home. He's 77-27, covers 58% of his games. And then Boise State with Andy Avalos taking the reign now that he's 1-1. And also, we got to keep an eye out on the next game. And Kansas State is the next opponent for Oklahoma State. Not a big look-ahead game. And Boise State has Utah State on deck. That could be a bit of a little peekaboo right there. But you know what? I like Boise State here. I think the forecast has it dead on. 43-29, and according to my newsletters, it does have Boise State on an average 36-28. So the newsletters that I subscribe to, and including ours at ATS Stats, has it 36-28. So we do have the Broncos winning here by 8. when you with the newsletters, right? All right, Northwestern taking on the Duke Blue Devils. I don't really have a great feel on this game. You know, some games you have a really good feeling. Like, I'll give you an example. Michigan State, well, I'll get to that. I think Michigan State's going to be sneaking under the radar this year. I think they're a pretty good football team. Northwestern, however, lost a lot of seniors last year. And Duke Blue Devils going into this game a 3-point home underdog. And, man, I just don't see it. 49.5 is the total, and we got the computer picks out of only 3 simulated games in the database going with Northwestern, 31-17. And when I look at my newsletter selections, the newsletters are all 29-21 for Northwesterns. Again, when you do analytics, you know, sometimes you don't agree all the time with analytics, right? That you have to take into consideration situational handicapping, you know, the current what's leading up to this game. And when I look at Northwestern, they got Ohio Bobcats on deck, and Duke has Kansas. So no big look-ahead situation for both these teams. Northwestern coming off a 24-6 win over Indiana State. And, you know, Charlotte 49ers, they beat the Duke Blue Devils last week, 31-28. And, you know, I know Charlotte was a good team last year, but I don't know this year. I'll have to take a look here. And, yeah, you know what? I just don't have a really strong feel on this game, so I'm going to pass. All right, speaking of strong opinions, I do like Cincinnati. I do like the Bearcats in this one. In fact, you know what? When USC is looking for a head coach, this is the guy. If you're looking for a head coach at USC, Luke Fickell is your guy. To me, what he's done at Cincinnati, I know he was at Ohio State for a cup of coffee. I don't know why you don't go get Luke Fickell. All he's done at Cincinnati is build up an impressive resume. He's 36-14 as a head coach, 72 win percentage. He's 22-4 at home, and 12-9 on the road. Anytime, you know, think about this. He's the head coach of the Cincinnati Bearcats, and he's 12-9 on the road. You know how hard it is to win on the road with an average team? It's very hard. And for Indiana, they're coming off a win last week against the Vandals. Idaho was 56-14. And the forecast, the computer pick out of 10 games in the system, is leaning with Indiana by 2. But you know what? I'm all over the Bearcats this week. And I think the computer pick on the analytics is wrong here, 24-22. And when I look at my consensus letters, it has Indiana winning 26-24. Again, analytics be damned. To me, I think the Bearcats. And you don't think Luke Fickell understands what's at stake here? He knows there's hey, you're always coaching. The thing in college football, if you're not part of a top 25 program, you're always coaching for your next gig, right? I say it all the time. You know, the Liberty head coach, Hugh Freeze, you don't think he's coaching for his next gig? All these coaches that, you know, they go through a process, right? You're not given Penn State, you're not given Ohio State, you're not given Alabama, you're not given all these top number 1 programs on a silver platter. You gotta work. It's like anything in life. You gotta earn your keep, right? You gotta make your in French fait et preuve. You know, you gotta prove yourself in anything you do, right? And I think Luke Fickell is going through a process of proving himself. You know, Matt Campbell didn't prove himself last week. That hurt him, I think, in putting his name in those type of situations. But I think Luke Fickell is your man for USC. And that's a wrap on that. All right, speaking of Michigan State, which I talked about earlier, I thought Mel Tucker is doing a pretty good job. I know he struggled last year, but they're going up to Miami, who really needed, Miami, Alabama week 1, and then they squeaked by Appalachian State. The Mountaineers won 25-23. That was a tough game for Manny Diaz and the Hurricanes. And now you get a team where no one is giving you a shot, right? Even the bookmakers got you a 5.5 point underdog on the road. But I think I really think Michigan goes up to the Hard Rock not Hard Rock Cafe, but Hard Rock Stadium this weekend, and maybe pulls the upset, right? But looking at the computer pick, out of 17 games in the database, it's leaning with the Canes here. But again, this is all analytics, right? And if you are, you know, saying, hey, Ron, how come you're going against your analytics? Hey, you're not watching the show, right? Because I say it all the time. These are just indicators, and I don't always agree with the indicators. These are facts, and sometimes you disagree with facts, right? You got to have your own personal opinion, your own, I say your eyes are your prize, your own scouting. And because I'm involved in football, I've coached football my whole life, I know good teams, and I know really teams that are just, you know, they're really fool's gold, I call, right? And I think Miami right now is just living off a reputation right here. I think this is a reputation line right here of 5.5, and that's how I feel about it, right? But looking at Manny Diaz as the head coach for the Miami Hurricanes, Now, and the one thing, though, that really concerns me a bit with Michigan State, they have, now, Nebraska, it's not Nebraska of the 90s with Tom Osborne and all that right there, but it's still a big name. It's still Nebraska. It's still going to garner a lot of attention. That could be a little bit of a peekaboo situation look ahead. But Miami's got Central Connecticut, finally a breather in their schedule. But Manny Diaz at home, 9-4 record, but only covers 42%. And Mel Tucker, we'll give him a little bit of a break here. He's 4-5 as a Spartan head coach and 50% covering the spread. But you know what? He's building something at Michigan State, right? 33-26. And the newsletters are on the Miami Hurricanes, 34-26. All right, let me take a little peek here and see everybody buckled in. Everybody enjoying the show. Hey, I don't see a lot of chat in the bullpen, so it means people are either asleep or Ron, the number one, the holder for Sports Breakdown. Thanks for that. It says much dreadlocks required. Appreciate you, much dreads. Hey, right there. All right, let's get back to the action here, and the show must go on. All right, here we go. Northern Illinois taking on Michigan. All right, this is interesting. Not that Northern Illinois is going to really shock the world this week, and they're not. But what's interesting is Michigan. Everybody's wondering, are they back? They're back in the. I think they're 1 week, 2 weeks immature of being ranked right now. There's no way I would give Michigan a 25th rank. I think that's a reputation rank right there. I think Jim Harbaugh's name, Michigan. Hey, let's get them in the public eye. Let's get them in the rankings. I don't think you give Michigan a top 25 ranking yet. They haven't deserved a top 25 yet, and I think that is not a right thing for. There's some more deserving teams, right? And we'll get to that in just a few minutes. Now, going into this week, and they're a 27-point favorite. Hey, they beat Washington, who haven't beaten. They lost to Montana, right? So they've beaten two. And what was the other game they beat? Western Michigan. So they haven't really beaten anybody, and they're already getting the respect, right? But to me, it's a reputation respect. And I like Michigan. Michigan's one of my teams that I like, right? So I'm not. I'm just saying it like it is. 37-18 is the final that we have here on 21 previous games in the database. Northern Illinois coming off a 50-43 shootout against Wyoming where they lost. And again, Michigan playing on that ABC Saturday night game of the week. 31-10. Hey, you know what? They look good. But again, we'll see. We will see. And according to the newsletters that I subscribe to, the average score is 41-16. So we're right there in the same ballpark. Jim Harbaugh only covers 53% of his games. He's 31-8 at home. And Northern Illinois, Thomas Hammock, 6-14 as a record lifetime at Northern Illinois. Third year going in for Thomas Hammock. All right, let's go to Purdue against Notre Dame. Now, this is a game where Purdue's coming in pretty hot here, 49-0, even though it's against Connecticut. And the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, they beat a very good Toledo Rockets team. Toledo could have pulled the upset there. Toledo's a good team. They beat FSU. FSU pooped the bed the next game. But Notre Dame, when you come off a great season, you lose your starting quarterback, you're scratching, you're clawing, you're just doing whatever it takes to win games. And right now, Brian Kelly's coaching his butt off to win these football games, right? He's won his last 2 games by 3 points. And normally, my experience in these types of situations, eventually, it's like a ticking time clock, right? You're going to run out of 9 lives right here. You can't keep winning 3-0, 3-0. I think Purdue keeps it close here this weekend. They might get another 3-point victory, Notre Dame, but they need a blowout on the resume, right? 7-point favorite. I like Purdue this weekend plus the 7. 57.5 is the number. 33-24 on the simulated database. So we do like them winning here by 9 points. It's only 7 previous game, and according to my newsletters that I subscribe to, 33-27 is the accumulated forecast. So all the newsletters, including mine, when you average it up, has 33-27. Purdue, Jeff Brom, 46% win percentage at Purdue, 8-10 on the road. Brian Kelly, 57-13 at home, and wins 73% of his games. But the good thing, if you like Purdue, Jeff Brom covers 57% of his games. And I think the last 7 years, Purdue is 19-4 as a road underdog on the road. So if you like Purdue, they are 19-4, 19-5 as a road underdog. So give me the Boilermakers here this weekend. Army taking on UConn. We got the Black Knights winning this one, 36-15. The over-under at 52.3. UMass against Eastern Michigan. We got the Eagles winning against UMass here, 37-26. The over-under at 63.78. Temple against Boston College. Now, I do like the Owls in this one. Now, you got Jeff Hafley taking the reins here at Boston College. Now, they're coming off a 45-28 victory against UMass last weekend, where the Temple Owls beat the Akron Zips 45-24. So, even though it's Akron and it's not a powerhouse football team, especially in the MAC, a win's a win, right? But going into this weekend, look at that, 14.5 point road favorite for Boston College. Boston College is, let me see here. Let me pull up their situations here on the year. So let me go to my Raymond report, and I'm going to put up Boston College's last couple of games. Where's Boston College? There it is. So let me see if I got, hopefully their games are playing their line, because again, like I told you guys, we only keep track of games that have lines or numbers on it. And for Boston College, so they beat Colgate and they beat UMass. So let's hold the brakes here. Let's not get the confetti and the parade ready there in Boston. Hey, slow down, Boston. Slow down now. Temple Owls going into this game as a 14.5 point underdog. And looking at my newsletters, we do like. Let me see here. Where's the? Let me see. 38-24. So we do have 6. 6, 8, 4. Yeah, right there on the line, right? So we almost have it on the line. So 8 plus 14 right there. So now this line is at, it opened up at 16. It's down to 14.5. So again, people are betting on the Temple Owls. I think Temple's might be the play here. I think Temple is the play. And when you look at the head coach for Temple, Rod Carey, 7-3 at home and 3-7 on the road. And this is why I keep track of coach's record, right? Because in college football, home games with crowds in the stands is a big advantage to road games, right? When you get young students, athletes going into Alabama, Clemson, Notre Dame, Michigan, it's very intimidating, right? But I'm not saying that Temple's a very intimidating place, but Rod Carey, 7-3 at home as the head coach in third year right now at Temple Owls. All right, another good game right here. Another Ottawa guy connection here in West Virginia. Akeem Mesidor, defensive lineman here at West Virginia. He's going to play in the NFL one day, folks. Keep an eye on him. We call him Kiki. Akeem Mesidor. And I coached him 1 year in 2016. And JV, and he was disruptive, and he's a beast. Defensive line, he played linebacker for us, and now he's playing DN for the Mountaineers. Now looking at the line on this game, -3 for West Virginia. The over/under set at 50.5. ATS forecast. I'm gonna go with the Hokies. I love the Hokies here. Here's a news bulletin. I'm gonna give you guys one of my top plays this weekend. Virginia Tech +3 is my upset special. I think Virginia Tech. I like Neil Brown. I think Neil Brown's a good air raid coach. He's part of the air raid system. He learned from some of the best in Holgerson and all those guys, Hal Mummy, Mike Leach. But you know what? Sometimes it's like in hockey, right? I use this analogy a lot. When I think of hockey, remember when Brian Trottier was the assistant coach for life, and then he went head coach? Some guys aren't just made to be head coaches. I don't think Neil Brown's a head coach. I think he's a great coordinator. I just don't think he's a head coach. That's just me. I got the Hokies winning this one 22-14. The over-under at 37.0. And for the Virginia Tech, Justin Fuentes, 14-11 for the Hokies on the road. Only covers 48% of his game. And Neil Brown, 3-8 on the road, 7-4 at home, but only covers 43% of his football games. Give me the Hokies as my upset special this weekend. Hey, sorry, Kiki, I'm not taking you this weekend. All right, just want to say good morning to Gloria K. Out of town, Indianapolis, golf event. What I missed? Yeah, you missed nothing there, Gloria. Hey, welcome. Hopefully you're having a good morning. And who else is Andrew Stapleton? Good morning, Andrew. And let me just do a quick hello to some of the people coming in. There's Eric Brown. How you doing, Eric? And so if I miss anybody, I apologize. I always want to say good morning to people when they take the time to write me or write us in the chat, which we call the bullpen. And I love to hear from you guys. All right, so let's go on with the show here. All right, so we got the Coastal Carolina, the Chanticleers, right? The Chanticleers against the Buffalo Bulls. This is an interesting matchup here. Now the Chanticleers are a 14-point road favorite. The over/under set at 57.5. ATS forecast computer pick gonna lean with Coastal Carolina 43.9, 25.1. The over/under at 69.05. And you know what? You ever see these teams like Coastal Carolina, like App State? It's like, where do these guys come from? You know what I mean? Like, it's like all of a sudden now they're on a national map, right? And we all know that situation last year with BYU. They took that game, and Coastal Carolina, man, the head coach for Coastal Carolina is Jamie Chadwell, and in his fourth season, he's 20-17. 13-7 at home, 7-9 on the road. So got a do a better job on the road record. But again, it's tough to win those road games. But I think he's got a good shot here this weekend, and he covers 58% of his games. So this is a good one here. 43-25, the over/under at 69.05, and they're coming off a 49-22 win over the Jayhawks last weekend, where the Bulls lost to the Cornhuskers 28-3. My good friend Tony George is going to be happy with that result. We'll see if he's happy this weekend. All right, Western Michigan taking on the Pitt Panthers. I liked Tennessee last weekend, so you know what? Always learning, right? And what did I take away from last weekend? Is senior football wins football games, right? Pitt Panthers, a lot of seniors back, and Tennessee, a young team, a new coach, Josh Heupel. And we saw Pitt go in there. They weren't phased. Like, if you watched that game last week with Tennessee and Pittsburgh, Tennessee came out smoking in the first half, in the first quarter. They were just playing with so much confidence, but it just reminded me of the old bull and the young bull story, right? We all know the end of that. But I just saw Pittsburgh. Pitt just said, guys, relax. We got this. And you saw Narduzzi just, slowly just chip away. And next thing you know, the score is 41-34 for the Pitt Panthers. And they got the job done. So impressive win. And this is where you get an experienced quarterback in Cody Pickett. It helps, right? It really does. Western Michigan taking a win last week against Illinois State. The final there was 28-0. 46-23 out of 27 previous games in the database. And when I look at my consensus newsletters, we have a 41-24 consensus score. So we do like Pitt to win this weekend against the Broncos. Florida State taking on the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Now, the Demon Deacons a 5-point favorite. The over-under at 62.5. Now, Florida State losing that game last week in dramatic fashion. But that happens after a big national TV game. You were the only show in town on that, Sunday night against Notre Dame. And then, you got to coach them up, coach. You got to get them ready for the next game. Our old head coach, Breezy, used to tell us at Ottawa U, hey, you know what? You know what the most important game is? It's the next game. And you got to get your players ready for, you can't look in the rearview mirror all the time and say, oh, how great we were last week. Nobody cares what you done last week. It's all about what have you done for me lately, and it's the next game, right? You got to get your team ready for the next game. And in Norvell, Mike Norvell, did not get his team ready. And this is why, you're wondering who's going to get that coach at USC. The names. Your name's not going to be popping in those conversations when you're losing to Jacksonville State, right? Just a fact, Jack, right there. 37-34 for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons in this one. And on the newsletter picks, we have 36-30. So we got them winning by 1. So if you do like Wake Forest, we what do we have here? 37. Yeah, we don't have them covering on the computer pick, but the consensus does on the newsletters. All right, Iowa taking on the Kent State Golden Flashes, another MAC opponent right here. And, big win last week for Kirk Ferentz and the Iowa Hawkeyes. Went into Ames and got the victory against the Cyclones, 27-17. Now, going into this game, remember if you watch some of my videos this year, my tip videos, I said throughout in July, I did all these Dog Days of Summer series. I said, and every time I did the college videos, I said, look, there's teams that are going to earn the respect and get the respect from the media and all that. I just felt that Iowa State with Matt Campbell getting way too much respect, and he doesn't win the big games. Unfortunately, he doesn't. Go look at his record. The track record says it. And I knew last week this would be a tough game for Iowa State, and they didn't get the job done, right? Now, the Iowa Hawkeyes coming into this one as a 23-point favorite. The over-under is set at 56.5, and out of 20 previous simulated games in the database, we're going to go with the Hawkeyes here. 42-17. The over-under will land on 60.54. But you know what? I kind of like the under in this game. I do like the under. I know Iowa, a great defense. They've already got 3 defensive touchdowns this year. So I think the under is where you want to lean this one between the Hawkeyes and the Golden Flashes. SMU taking on Louisiana Tech. And looking at the line on this game, now the 12.5, and I've seen some 11 out there. So money's coming in on the Tech. And why not? Look at Skip Holtz. Look at his record as the head coach of the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs. Another Ottawa connection there. One of the Chris Fournier, one of the O-linemen, playing at Louisiana Tech. Good Ottawa guy right there. And Skip Holtz, 9th season. You know what? I like Louisiana Tech here this week, and I'll tell you why. Skip Holtz is a good coach at home, 31-12 straight up, covers 54% of his games. And SMU coming off a big win last week, 35-12 against North Texas Mean Green. A game they really should probably put more points on. But I do like Louisiana Tech in this one as a underdog. And look at the line there. That's right there on the line, right? And don't be surprised if Louisiana Tech pulls the upset. But the computer pick, 42-30, the over-under at 73.4. And the consensus newsletters that I have has a victory of, let me see, where is it? 40-29. So it hasn't winning just by 11. Right there at 11. That's where the line is right now. It's at 11. Sonny Dykes, another air raid type quarterback, to 62% win percentage at SMU. 4th season, 10-9 on the road, but only covers 49% of his game. Give me Louisiana Tech. All right, Ohio State taking on the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes. Now, if this was the Golden Hurricanes of last year, I'd be a little bit worried for Ohio State. But they lost their senior quarterback; he's gone. The Golden Hurricanes losing last weekend to the Cowboys, Oklahoma State, 28-23. Tulsa's probably rebuilding here. Not looking good in the first couple of games. Philip Montgomery as the head coach, 31-42, and covers 57% of his game. Ryan Day covers 59%, and Ryan Day experienced his first loss last week against the Oregon Ducks. And if anybody watched that game last week, you should probably put the Oregon Ducks offense coordinator on your Christmas list, because he just gave you the blueprint on how to beat that defense. Run the football. You run the football against Ohio State because they couldn't stop a nosebleed last week. And if you can't stop the run in college football, there's no way you're going to a national championship. And you know what? You're probably not even going to win the Big Ten this year, because you still have Iowa to contend, and who knows what Michigan's going to be like, right? So sorry, Buckeye fans. I know I'm sounding like probably a Michigan homer here, but I'm not a homer. I just the facts, man. I just give you the facts. Nevada taking on the Kansas State Wildcats. Now, the Wildcats lost their quarterback last weekend, Thompson. He's out this week, and now you got the Wolfpack. Quarterback at Nevada is doing pretty good this year. He could be an NFL contender. Carson something. I can't remember his name, but he is a good quarterback. And going into this game, looking at the Nevada Wolfpack, you got Jay Norvell, 26-22, 54 win percentage, but only 8-13 as a head coach on the road. And Chris Kleeman, you know what? Kleeman, I apologize if I butcher that. He's a really good head coach. Kleeman is a really good head coach, but look at the forecast here, 32-7. Hey, you know what? That's why I'm not touching this game this week. I don't like the computer pick, and looking at my forecast here on my newsletters, has a 29-20 victory for Nevada. So if you do like the Wolfpack here, -1.5, take the money line. I think you got better value. All right, Mississippi State taking on the Memphis Tigers. Hey, the Pirate. Hey, Mike Leach. I love Mike Leach. I love his book. And, man, yeah, he's a character, right? But, him and Al Mummy, the air raid godfathers. -3 is the line here on the Bulldogs. The over-under at 64. ATS forecast. Computer pick. Going to lean with the Bulldogs in this one. 25-16. The over-under at 42.37. Mississippi State coming off a 24-10 win over the North Carolina State Wolfpack. That's an impressive win. I thought it'd be a little bit closer. And Memphis winning 55-50 against Arkansas State. That was a big win for the Tigers. But going into this game, the Pirate, Mike Leach, second season with the Bulldogs, 6-7, and only 1-4 on the road though. So you got to be careful. Ryan Silverfield, second season, 10-4, 71% win percentage, perfect record at home, 7-0. So that's why I'm not going to touch this game. Silverfield 7-0 as a coach for Memphis. Baylor Bears taking on the Kansas Jayhawks. The Jayhawks losing to the Chanticleers, right? 49-22. The over/under was 49-22 against Kansas for Coastal Carolina. The line on this game for the Baylor Bears is -18. The over/under at 49.5. ATS forecast computer pick out of 7 previous games in the database. Gonna lean with the Bears in this one. 49-12. The over/under at 61.43. Baylor coming off a win over Texas Southern, 2-0 on the season. It could be 3-0 depending on the feed if they're playing ranked opponents. Dave Aranda now 3-7, and we'll see. Hey, he's got he had to rebuild after was it Matt Rule that was at Baylor? So he took over after Matt Rule, and we all know what Matt Rule did at Temple and Baylor and now in the NFL. good coach right there, right? But the consensus newsletters does like 39-16 for Baylor, and we'll see what happens here this weekend. Lance Leopold as a head coach for Kansas. Let me see here. They went 0-9. This is his first season, so overall, wherever he came from, he's 21-12 as a head coach. But he's got his work cut out for him this weekend. All right, Georgia Southern taking on the Arkansas Razorback. Now, this could be a bit of a letdown factor here for the Razorback. They're coming off a 40-21 victory over the Texas Longhorns. So, watch out for the overreaction, right? Anytime you get a team like Arkansas, who's middle of the pack in the SEC, more of the lower the middle of the pack, but they're building something there. Pittman's doing a good job. In fact, let me see here. Sam Pittman, 5-7, 42 win percentage, 4-3 at home. 75% covering the spread. So, you know what? Bettor's best friend there, Sam Pittman, is put him on my Christmas card. My Christmas card is getting a little long right now. Hey, between baseball and college football, got a lot of people I got to send out Christmas cards to. But, Sam Pittman, 75% covering the spread. And for Georgia Southern, Chad and Lunsford, 5th season, 27-19 win percentage. 8-14, but he plays better at home, 17-4. Unfortunately, they're in Fayetteville, Arkansas. All right, Colorado State, Toledo, those Rockets. I got the Rockets winning the MAC this year. They're coming off a tough defeat over Notre Dame. 32-29 was the final. A 14.5-point favorite here this weekend. Colorado State losing to Vanderbilt last weekend. That's not a good thing, right? And you lose to the worst team in the SEC. But, it's SEC. Even the worst team, that just shows you how strong the SEC is, right? You can send the worst team of the SEC to play a team like Colorado State, and they still get the victory, 24-21. I believe that was was that on the road? I think that was on the road too. Man, the SEC is just, and the rich get richer. Hey, let's bring Oklahoma, and let's bring who else is going there? Oklahoma, and who's the other one that's I can't remember right now off the top of my head. All right, 14.5 is the line, 58.5 is the over-under. And we do have the Rockets winning this one, 42-20, the over-under at 62.67. And looking at the last two games for the Rockets, I've gone over the total. And on the consensus newsletter, we got 39-20 as the final. Give me Toledo this weekend. All right, the Marshall Thundering Herd. Grant Wells, quarterback for the Thundering Herd. I watched this player play last year. Man, this guy's going to be an NFL quarterback. If you've seen Grant Wells play, man, he's a good quarterback. Coming off a 49-7. In fact, a game where after that game, they fired their offense coordinator. Marshall's going to be a good team here. Anytime you get a good quarterback, man, magic can happen, right? East Carolina losing last week to South Carolina, a game they probably should have won. That game could have went other way. To me, it's about coaching. And to me, coaching lost that game last week. And for East Carolina, you got Mike Houston, the coach for the Pirates, and 3-8 at home. Maybe that's why he lost that game. Only covers 48%. Charles Huff is the coach here at Marshall, and we'll see what they do. I do like Marshall in this one. I know the score says a little bit different on the forecast, 34-23, but give me the Thundering Herd as they Thunder Road. All right, who's next here? We got Old Dominion against Liberty. Hugh Freeze, just keep winning. Hey, you'll get that job. I know he's playing for the next job. Watch Hugh Freeze. I'm surprised his name's not being thrown around a bit more for some of the big jobs. I don't know if USC, he's done enough to be in that conversation. Not just yet. 34-15, the over-under at 50.58. And according to our forecast, 41-13. And let me see here. Utah against San Diego State. Brady Hoke taking on the Utes. Did you say Utes? Yeah, we said Utes. And Kyle Whittingham, probably one of the longest tenured coaches, maybe with 17 years. Who's coached longer than Whittingham in college football? Maybe Saban, maybe? I don't know. For Whittingham, he's 72-52 at home, but only 51-37. I say only 51-37, but that's a pretty good road record. And he covers 55% of his games. Where Brady Hoke with the Aztecs, 19-16, 13-5 at home. So you know what? Brady does. Coach Brady Hoke wins his games at home. So you might want to give a little glance at the Aztecs this weekend, right? And what does the newsletter say? The newsletters are telling us 23-18. So yeah, so the newsletters are they don't have them winning, but they got them covering the spread. All right, let me take a look at some of the man. You guys are chatting away here. All right. I'm craving I am craving top ramen for breakfast. Breakfast of champions. Awesome. Let me see here. Totally agree, Ron. Big overreaction on Arkansas, says Zach Reed. Thanks for the share. Love Odd Sharks. Odds Shark Sniper. Let me think. All right. So again, once I'm done, and then I'll answer some of your questions. So if you posted a question in the chat, once I'm done, come back. I will get back to those questions. It's just once I get on this roll, I got to keep going, right? Because if I stop at every game, it'll be a 4-hour show. Hey, good old college football. Good old college football. How's that Silver Bullet play doing? Everybody keeping track of the Silver Bullet to see how it's doing? And if you don't know the Silver Bullet, it's my number one tip that I gave you guys on the tip videos, right? All right, the Gamecocks taking on the Bulldogs. Now, looking at this game, you got South Carolina. You know what? You got to give credit to the Gamecocks last weekend. You know, they had a big game on deck here against Georgia, and it didn't phase the head coach for the Gamecocks. In fact, let me bring up the score here. For Shane Beamer. Okay, so rookie head coach good job. You know, good job, coach. You didn't let that game phase you last weekend. You got the job done. You went to East Carolina knowing you had a big game on deck here against the Bulldogs, and you got the 2017 victory. The bad news is you got the Bulldogs this weekend, but Georgia, a 32-point favorite in this one. 46.5 is the total, and we do have the Bulldogs. Look at that. Pretty close one, though. 27-13, the over-under to land on 41.13, and according to our consensus newsletter, we got 39-9 on the consensus. Kirby Smart, 79% win percentage, 26-4 at home for the Bulldogs. All right, Texas San Antonio. There's another team, guys. Coastal Carolina, Texas San Antonio. You know, these are the under the radar type teams that I'm keeping track of this year. Keep an eye on Texas San Antonio. All they do is just win. They won 54 again last weekend against Lamar. You know, obviously it's not these big tools, but you know what? Middle Tennessee State coming off a 35-14 loss to the Hokies, so a bit of a tougher opponent this weekend for the Roadrunners, and we got them winning 35-12, and the over-under here set at 47.81. So we do like it to go under the total. And let me take a look here at UTSA. You got Jeff Traylor's second year, 5-2 in his home games, and for Middle Tennessee, Rick Stockstill, 16th season. So there's another coach with a lot of mileage at one place. 50% win percentage, 94-93, so 50 point something, but 40-58 on the road, and covers 50% of his game. Give me San Antonio though. I do like the Roadrunners this weekend. FIU taking on the Texas Tech Raiders, and looking at the Texas Tech, you got Matt Wells in his third season, 9-14 at Texas Tech, 7-5 at home, 2-9 on the road, and you got Butch Davis. Hey, what a great name for a coach, Butch Davis. Hey, 15-9 at home, 6-12 on the road, covers 50% of his football games, going into his fifth season at Florida International, and going this weekend, the Texas Tech Red Raiders are 19.5 point home favorite. The over-under set at 54.5. ATS forecast, computer pick, going to lean with the Texas Tech Red Raiders. 44-18, the over-under at 62.5. According to my newsletters, we have a 37-19, so we got them winning by 18 right there, so we don't have them covering. And what do we have? We have 44-18. So, again, a big number right there. I don't think I want to touch that game. Again, you got to decide. Are you an action junkie or are you a sports betting investor? I've got 2 premium picks this week. I'm 3-1 this season, and I'm only playing 2 plays. I'll play some pizza money on some other games just to keep an interest on a game, but I unload on my 2 biggest plays. All right, Southern Miss taking on the Troy Trojans. We got the Trojans winning this one 24-12. The over-under at 36.84. And looking at our consensus, 27-17, right there on the number. And nothing to report here on the coaches. Charlotte 49ers taking on the Georgia State Panthers. And looking at Charlotte right now, Will Healy going to his third season, 10-10, 7-2 at home, but only 3-7 on the road. So not a good spot here for the 49ers. They're a 4.5 point road underdog. And according to our consensus, we have a 36-30 victory for Georgia State here, who are coming off a 59-17 spanking over the Tar Heels. All right, Arkansas State taking on the Washington Huskies. Man, why do I get the impression if Washington loses this game that they're big? Get the big broom out, right? They're like cleaning house next week if they lose this game. 16.5 point favorite here at home to Arkansas State. Now looking at Arkansas State going into this game, Butch Jones first year, and for Jimmy Lake. Yeah, Jimmy is Jimmy's in remember the Seinfeld episode? Jimmy better like the victories this weekend if he's going to want to keep his job. Hey, Jimmy likes winning. 31-10 was last weekend against Michigan, where Arkansas State was a 55-50 against the Tigers. And we do like Washington here, hopefully for Jimmy. Hey, Jimmy, get that victory, 39-16. The over-under at 56.18. Utah State taking on the Air Force Falcons. Falcons are looking good. Hey, the service academies, of all the service academies, Air Force, Troy Calhoun, he's got his team playing really well. In fact, Troy Calhoun, look at his home record at home, 63-21. But only 33-45 on the road. And the one thing with Calhoun, he covers 62% of his game. Utah State, the Aggies coming off a win last week against North Dakota, 48-24. We got 29-24, so we do have Air Force winning but not covering. And the newsletters have 29-22. So the newsletters right around the number. Again, anytime you get these tight numbers like that, there's better games on the board. All right, Coach O's in the house. Hey, Coach Ed Orgeron. For the LSU Tigers. Now, the one thing with Coach O, look at his home record: 23-6, 23-6 straight up at Death Valley. Is it Death Valley they call the Tiger Stadium? And 75% of his games they win. 45-15. Coach O, man. If I was a player, I would love to play for Coach O. Hey, I don't know if he's he probably like quarterback. He like Joe Burrows, as long as you win, right? Hey, but being 5'10", didn't have much of a career as a quarterback at 5'10", and my name's not Doug Flutie or Russell Wilson, right? 5'10" quarterbacks just don't get a lot of looks at camps. Minus 19 is the line here. The over/under is set at 60.5. ATS forecast computer pick gonna lean with Coach O. 40-20. The over/under at 60.89. And looking at the line, very, very tight again. And looking at the consensus in the newsletter, I butchered that thing. 40-22 is the final on the or the average on our newsletters. All right, North Carolina taking on the Cavaliers. Now Virginia going into North Carolina as an 8.5-point road underdog. Over/under at 66.5. And Mac Brown last season here at with the Tar Heels. And we got, let me see here, we have 38-26. And you know one thing with Virginia, Bronco Mendenhall, 6th season, 31-32. Now, the only thing with Bronco Mendenhall, if he had a better road record, you could probably put his name in that USC conversation. But you know what? When you're 6-20 on the road, unfortunately, it's Virginia for now, right? It's Virginia for now. You got to do a better job, Coach, on that, getting the team ready on the road. And we'll see this weekend if they can get the job done in North Carolina. We do have the Tar Heels winning 38-26, and the newsletters 37-26 is the final. So 37-26. So we got them winning by 11. So yeah, 9. Sorry, we got them winning by 9. All right. So let's go to the next game. We got UAB taking on North Texas. We got 31-21. The over/under at 53.5 for UAB. We got 34-23 on the newsletters. So we do have them winning by 11, so not even close. But looking at Bill Clark, Bill Clark's been doing a great job. Again, it's too bad UAB, they went through that bit of, they didn't play for a couple years. But since he's come back, Bill Clark, 6th season, 24-4 at home, 16-17 on the road with UAB. Think about that. He's 16-17 with the UAB Blazers. That's pretty good. And he covers 60% of his game. So put Bill Clark on the Christmas list, right? Stanford taking on the Commodores, and we'll see if Vanderbilt can go back-to-back here this weekend. They're a 12.5-point home underdog against the Stanford Cardinals. Now, Stanford, the big win last week against USC probably got Clayton fired on that job. But the only thing here, both teams got major, mountain look-ahead games here. Stanford's got UCLA next week. Chip Kelly's doing a really remarkable job. That running game, if that Chip Kelly play Ohio State right now with that running game, it'd probably be another Oregon thing, right? And for Vanderbilt, they got Georgia on deck. So was, both teams are in a tough spot right here. But we do like the Cardinals, 27-15, the over-under at 42.88. Coach David Shaw, 11th season, 36-20 on the road, and pretty good. That's a pretty good road record, right? 36-20 for Coach Shaw. Rice taking on the Texas Longhorn. Texas pooped the bed last week in Fayetteville, losing 40-21 against the Razorbacks. Now the Owls. Let me see here. Rice. They lost to Arkansas 30 last game. Okay, so 2 games ago, 13 days ago. Unless they played a Division II team, we didn't record it. But we got the Longhorns 40-14, the over/under at 54.99. Rice going here. Coach Mike Bloomgren, 7-24, 4-12 on the road. Only covers 52% of his game. And Coach Sarkisian, first year at Texas, so we'll give him a little bit of breathing room right here. But the newsletters 41-14 in a Texas romp right here. Hey, this is, you know what? If you're a Texas fan or, you like the Longhorns, you need a big bounce back game off that game. You need a game to erase that last memory of the last game, right? Again, what's the most important game? The next game. Tulane taking on the old Rebels, right? Coach Lane Kiffin should be back for this one. And looking at last week, 54-17. He might have been back for that against Austin Peay. And 14.5 point against the Tulane Green Wave. Now, Tulane winning 69-20 last week against Morgan State. But keep in mind, Tulane nearly pulled the upset against, a Big 12 opponent in Oklahoma week number 1. And they had to travel to Norman. Now, that game was not at Tulane. It was in Norman. So, you know what? Tulane, the jury, this, I wouldn't be surprised if they beat Ole Miss here, right? And again, this here, to me, you got a high-profile head coach in Lane Kiffin. You got Ole Miss team program on, doing really good things. I think this is an overreaction here. 14.5 against Tulane seems like a lot of big numbers to me. 75 is the total. Look at that total. Man, it's like a touch football game, 7-on-7 right here. But 42-19, the over-under is set at 62.27. Remind me to do a total search on this. Anytime I see a total of 75.5, it normally goes over. Remind me to do a lookup on that. For the Tulane Green Wave, Coach Willie Fritz, 6th season, doing a pretty good job. 29-34, 46%. Well, for Tulane, right? That's a good job for Tulane. 18-12. Again, as long as you win your home games, they'll keep the alumni happy. 9-21 on the road, but he covers 60% of his game. I love Tulane this weekend. Iowa State taking on the UNLV Rebels. Now the Rebels losing last week to the Sun Devils, 37-10. Iowa State, man, where do you go? Where do I start here? You know what? I'm not gonna beat a dead horse. You gotta win. You gotta win those big games. If you're Matt Campbell and you want your name to be in those big conversations, and you know what? He knows. He knows it. You got to find a way to better prepare your players against those top 25 teams. And of that, 31.5 point favorite here. The over/under at 51.5. 41-12 is our final right here, and we'll 53.25. So we do like it to go over the total. And according to our newsletter picks, let me see here. We do have 40-12. So right there, right there. Fresno State against UCLA Bruins. Hey, you know what? When I first looked at this game, I said, wow, UCLA should romp them. But then I started looking at, Fresno State's game, right? In fact, let me pull that up right now. Let me go to the Fresno State's games. And let me just, this way it gives me a little bit of a breather here to talk. So I know they're coming off that 31-24 loss to the Ducks. A game they probably could have won, right? And then in the other game, it was a 45-0 win over Connecticut. All right, I thought it was a better opponent. But UCLA beating LSU, winning 44-10 against Hawaii. You know what? That even though they lost to Oregon, that's a respectful score right there. 31-24 against a team that beat Ohio State, right? But everybody knows that. Think like a bookmaker. My good friend Ross Benjamin says, if I'm saying it, bookmakers are thinking it. So this line, and this is why I'm not touching this game. This line has UCLA written all over it. But again, everybody, what's the way you're going to handicap this game? Oh, Oregon, they hung in there with the Ducks, right? So they should be able to keep it open, close. But look at the forecast, 42-20. And what does the newsletter say? We have 40-24. So yeah, one newsletter has it pretty tight. But yeah, UCLA's got Stanford on deck. So a couple of look ahead situations here. But I think Chip Kelly, he knows he has a good team this year. And when you got a good football team and you know it, you keep that pedal down and you just keep pressing, right? Hey, D's for drive, and you keep driving. All right, Southern USC taking on the Wash State. We got the Trojans now. The coach was fired this week, so I think the DC stepped up. One of the coaches stepped up there, so an interim head coach. 35-24, the over/under at 60.01. And didn't Washington State look really bad in their first game? I thought the Cougars pooped the bed there in the first game. Let Let me see here. Washington State, even though they won last weekend against Portland State, 44-24, I thought the first game was a big opponent. Utah State, 26-23, and they were a 16.5 point favorite. So yeah, they didn't do any favors to themselves by losing that game. All right, Georgia Tech taking on Clemson. We got the Tigers winning this one, 26-14. The over/under set at 40.58. Clemson still hasn't allowed an offensive touchdown, so a little bit of a reload here for the Tigers on offense. But as a defense, with that DC over there, yeah, they can still make a run for it. And they lost 10-3 to Georgia. The season's not over if you're a Clemson Tiger fan. 26-14, the over/under at 40.54. And who's anybody better than Dabo Swinney at home? Maybe Nick Saban. Let me see. Swinney at home, 79-14, and he covers 57% of his football games. Pretty good record right there. All right, the Cowboys taking on the Ball State Cardinals. We got the Wyoming Cowboys winning 37-24, the over/under at 61.8. We got the Golden Gophers, PJ Fleck. Now, his name's in there too in the USC running. He's more of a team builder though. When I look at PJ Fleck, roll the boat and all that stuff, that can work for a bit. But at the end of the day, X's and O's. And, maybe he gave the blueprint on how to beat Ohio State. Oregon should be sending Christmas cards to PJ Fleck, because I think what they did is they exposed the running game, and Oregon saw that, and they dissect the film, and, they did a number on him, right? So maybe PJ Fleck does deserve a nomination for that USC job. At the very most, keep his name in the conversation, because he gave Oregon, the blueprint on how to beat the Buckeyes, right? 39-20, the over/under at 59.75. Minnesota coming off a win over Miami, the Redhawks, 31-26. Not a very convincing win. And then Colorado kept it close with Texas A&M. Man, Coach Fisher there, what happened there? 10-7. Yeah, I listened to him on one of his press conferences this week, and back to the drawing board on offense. Got to find a way to get Jimbo Fisher. Got to get a way to get a victory, more production on offense, right? And sometimes it is what it is, right? He lost Kellen Mond, got a backup quarterback, so growing pains in the College Station, right? All right, let me see here. Let's go to the next game. New Mexico, speaking of Jimbo Fisher, 33-15, the over/under at 48.42. Arizona State taking on BYU. BYU coming off a 26-17 win over Utah. Big win for BYU last week. In fact, looking at Coach Kalani Sitake, 40-26, 22-10 at home. And Coach Herm Edwards, 11-4 at a home record, but only 6-8. But Coach Sitake covers 54% of his games lifetime in the 6 seasons at BYU. Spartans taking on Hawaii. The late game. If you lost, that's what do they call that game? They call that the bailout game. Hey, if you lost your shirt that day, they use the Hawaii game. That's one thing you shouldn't do. If you had a bad day, don't use the Hawaii game to bail yourself out, because the bookmakers know that. They'll spank you again, right? 6.5 is the line here on the Spartans, and we do have Hawaii winning by 2 here on the computer pick. But the consensus newsletters likes the other side here. 31-27 San Jose State. Brent Brennan doing a good job at the Spartans the last couple of years, anyways. But he's only 5-18 on the road, but he covers 61% of his games. And keep the best for last, right? The Crimson Tide taking on the Florida Gators. You got Nick Saban as a head coach on the road, 52-8. Doesn't even have double-digit losses as a head coach. 15th season at Alabama. Wins 88% of his games. And both Mullen and Saban cover 58% of the game. Now, the one thing with a game like this, the whole world's watching this game, right? And everybody's going to have an opinion. And when Nick Saban plays those ranked teams, top 25, he's 67-19, and Dan Mullen's only 5-6, beating those teams, right? 48-32. So we got them winning by 16. I don't like this. I'm not touching. I told you guys I won't watch another Alabama game. You watch it at halftime, it's already over. It's just they're like a mini NFL team. It's tough to watch Alabama games, right? Like, it takes away all the drama of the excitement of a college football game. And Florida Gators, well, let me see, the last game against South Florida, 42-20. And looking at the consensus newsletter picks, 40-26. So it has them winning by 14. Right there at the number. Again, there's better value. If you want to make money, You go find those, these Marshalls, the Coastal Carolinas, the Liberties. That's where you make money in college football. If you need money if you want to watch the Alabamas, the Michigans, the Ohio State, pizza money. Pizza money. That's the only way you make money betting those sports, right? All right, that is hey, that's a wrap. How'd you like that show? That was I felt like Chris Berman there, the fastest 3 minutes. Hey, fastest 60 minutes in college football. We go through every game. I try to give you guys the best information, we do it all here, folks. You know what I mean? So again, if you're interested in the membership at ATS Stats, and you're interested in my top plays this weekend, I got 2 premium picks. I'm 3-1 this year, and if you want a regular membership, use promo code FB21. I'll put it in the forecast right here. Promo code F is in Frank, B is in Bravo, 21, and get 20% off your next membership. So if you use that promo code FB21, you get 20% off your membership, and you also get my other picks. I got every week I put a 5-star best bet, a 4-star over/under play. I'll do a 2-star upset special, which I gave you guys. My upset special this week is Virginia Tech, and I put a 2-team parlay, and then I give you the system play of the day, and then my top 2 plays, my best bets, are in the premium section. And again, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. All right, do you have any questions? You guys have any questions you want me to answer before I log off here? Man, I can't believe we did a whole show. And if you're tuning in right now and you're looking for my Major League Baseball selections, I have a video on today, and I also put the 80% Club. Like somebody asked me yesterday, "Hey, Coach," Coach. Hey, I just saw that. So that's why I said, "Hey, Coach." Hey, Ron, where's your 80% Club stats? I put them in the video today. So if you're looking, there's only 9 games in baseball. So I gave you guys the computer picks, and I put in the top. Speaking of, you know what? Let me go to my 80% Club college football. Since we're doing college football, let's go to the 80% Club of college football, and let me give you guys always a great listen. Appreciate you, OG Wheat. Hey, from the ATL. I see you, OG. Hey, I see you, OG. Thank you. Appreciate you. Peyton Sport, I agree. Alabama's a mini NFL team. They make other teams look like high school teams. Yeah, I know. It's not even fun to watch an Alabama game. I'd rather watch Toledo against Notre Dame or something. Michigan State as a road team on a Saturday after a non-conference game, coming off back-to-back straight-up wins, 11-1 straight up. And let me see here. Mississippi State as a road team after a non-division game, coming off an ATS win, 7-3 straight up, 9-1 against the number. Kansas State as a home team during the month of September, coming off an ATS win. Perfect, 13-0, 10-2-1 against the number. And let me see any other good ones down here. Let me see Texas A&M, Eastern Michigan, coming off a road loss. So Eastern Michigan on 6 days rest in the month of September, coming off a road loss, 13-3. New Mexico as a 10 or more point underdog, playing on Saturday, coming off a home win and allowed 27 points or less last game, 10-1 to the under. For the Utes, did you say Utes? Utah road team as a favorite on 6 days rest, allowed 24 points or more against in their last game, 12-3 straight up in the next game, and 10-5 to the over. Mississippi State. Let me take a look here. The other ones down here. We got thousands of stats here, guys. Once you get a membership and you want to kill an afternoon, just look at this. Coastal Carolina as a road team versus non-division opponents the last 2 years, 9-2 against the number. Eastern Michigan as a road team on 6 days rest the last 5 years, 13-3 against the point spread, but only 6-10 straight up. UAB as a 10 or more favorite versus division opponents the last 3 seasons, 10-1, 8-3 against the point spread. Again, Clark doing a good job. And let me see any more. I always look for the blue stats in either this column or that one. This way it's the over-unders or the against the point spread. Vandy as a home underdog after a non-division game during week 1 to week 4, 10-2 to the under. And let me see if there's any other good ones down here. Let me see any other totals. Oh, here's one. Mississippi as a 10 or more point home favorite versus non-division opponents during week 1 to 4, 11-2. Yeah, Ole Miss. Remember I said the total's 75.5. Let me go take a look at this. So let me take a look at something for you guys. All right, Hawaii +3. Scroll up, Ron. Scroll up. You'll see highlights in a few. question. Okay, do you highlight them? Is that what you're saying? So you highlighted some questions? I don't see them. So can you just post them back here, Sniper? Hey, Sniper, if you you'll see highlights of a few ATS Ron Raymond questions. All right, I don't see the highlights. All I see, if you can just post them here, Sniper, that'd be great. All right, let me go to the Super Database. And let's go to college football. Let's do home favorites when the total's 70 or higher. All right, just give you an idea about that total. So total, where's the totals? All right, here we go. When the total's 70 or more, we'll do the last 3 seasons. Okay, we'll do the last 3. I always like to do, every time I do a search, I always like to keep it in the 3 or 4 year range. That's how, I always like to keep the same core of players, because when you look at a makeover of a program will lose anywhere from 10 to 20% of their players each year. So I like to keep it in that 3-4 year range when I'm doing my searches, right? So let's take any home favorites when the total 70 or more the last 3 years. What's the over-under record? Look at that, 35 and 52 and 2. I thought it'd be better on the, but that's home favorite, right? And what's the line on that game? Let me see the line on that game between Ole Miss and Tulane. What's the line? 14.5. All right, let me try this. Let me see this. Let me go. Oh, yeah, the calculator. Here's another thing, the ATS calculator. So let me go Tulane against Mississippi. Yeah, if you're wondering what this is my ATS calculator. It's at atscalculator.com. And if you scroll down, you see 77.3. I love this tool for it gets better after every week. Once you get more data into the calculator, this here gets really, look at that, 77.3. That would be my line on the game. And the bookmakers got 75. See how tight the line is? Wow. All right, so home favorites of 14 or more. Let me try that. Do I have that option? We'll do 10 or more. I don't think I have 14 or more. Let me see here. Home favorite, I got 20 or more. All right, I'll add 14. All right, so any home favorites of 10 or more. Let me see that. 10 or more home favorites, the total 70 the last 3 years. Survey says 21-26, but 44 and 3 straight up, 18 and 27 and 2. You know what? I think Tulane plus 14 is even better. All right. Any questions? Let me see the questions here. Glad to see another Atlantean here, says Mark Nation. What's your stats on your best bets? Again, I couldn't tell you. We got so many stats here. It's just, if I was a big company like ESPN or Fox News or Fox Sports, I'd be able to, have people, like I tell you guys all the time, I mop the floors, I close the lights, and I do security at night. I can only do so much in the day, right? Over in Alabama, says Andrew, check the over stats. Yep, I did that. Does the score forecast only take into account prior matchups or other? Yeah. So what the matchup, the forecast. So I'll give you an example. Let me go to my. I'll show you exactly. That's a great question. So let me go to the dashboard, and here's how we do our forecast. So we go to, and I'm always looking for previous. And right now we're working on an improved forecast, and I'll get into that in another show. So you go to college football. So let me see, and if you look down here, how many games? So let me go to Oklahoma Sooners right here. So there's 95 games, right? So I'll click on Oklahoma, and what I do is I look for whenever Oklahoma's a home favorite and the total's 54 or more, and then I'll grab the average scores, and then I'll compare it with the other one, and then I'll put my formula in there, and that's how it spits out the score. So it's always based on their role as a favorite or underdog, home or away, and what's the total. Because the total will tell you what type of game you're going to have against what type of opponent, right? If the total's 75, 76, that means that defense is crap. If the total's, 40-something, 38, 40, lower than, say, 43, then you know the both defenses are good, and it gives you an idea what type of matchup you got, right? And the same with the home favorite, depending on the line. But I'm working on a new forecast with better search queries. And anyways, I'll get to it another day, but I just wanted to show you that. Check the over stats. I did that. Check the forecast. Wyoming State under. How you feel about that? So here's the thing. I do like the under because everything's, in sports betting, and especially in football, is an overreaction, right? And what was the score of that Wyoming game last week? 50-45 or something like that? So let me go to my forecast here. Let me go to college football rain report. And let me go to Wyoming. So let me do Control F. All right, so Ball State. And, Ball State last year won the MAC, right? So, they're a good program, and they won their bowl game. So last week, Wyoming won 50-43 against Northern Illinois, and Penn State beat Ball State. Yeah, Penn State's got a great defense, 44-13. And you know what's impressive is that Ball State put 13 points on Penn State at home, where Wisconsin did what? Put 10? So that gives you an idea of that, right? But I do like the under in this one. I do like the under. I know there'll probably be an overreaction from last week's score of seeing that high total. Law of average, right? The law of average. So I do like the under. And when Ball State's the last 3 years, they're coming off a loss over a Big Ten opponent. 0-4 to the under. 0-4, or maybe since 96. Yeah, so it's either since 96 or last 3 years. I'll have to do the research. What's your stats on your best bets? Yeah, I got that. All right, any other questions, guys? And if you want to see our record on the computer picks, go to dashboard and go to how does the under look in the West Virginia, West Virginia and the VTech game. So go to last 100 games, and it'll give you our average, our forecast, our record, and all that. So it'll give you the scores. So in baseball this year, the last 100 computer picks, I don't think it's been that great. If anyone has questions, feel free to. So if you highlight Ron, make sure to get it. So I'll just wait for that. How does the under look in West? Are you talking about West Virginia against Virginia Tech? Let me see what the ATS calculator says. So I'll reset that. So let me go to Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech against West Virginia. Survey says we have 46.8. 46, and we got, I like Virginia Tech in this one. Even wait till next week when we have more data in the system. These lines will get sharper. So we have 46.8, and what's the total in that Virginia Tech game? What's that total? So let me go back to the rain report, and let me see Virginia Tech. 50. So yeah, we'd like it under. Yeah, we'd like it to go under. Anyone else? Highlight runs. All right, guys. Again, if you're interested in my top plays, my best bets, or you want a membership, again, get 20% off your next membership here by using promo code FB21. And if you're interested in tomorrow's show, tomorrow we're going to do NFL Football Friday. We cover every game in NFL, and I do same. But tomorrow I think I might do I'll use the rain report. The only reason why I don't use the rain report on college football is be a 7-hour show. If I use the rain report on every game, right? It'd be crazy. All right. Have yourself a great rest of your full Friday. That's what we call it, Thursday. In the meantime, hasta la vista, baby. See you mañana. Ciao.